Yes, sir. We officially back at it. This is Book Nice 10 coming with a video here. Want to talk about Marvel Legends figures versus Marvel Universe figures, or 6-inch figures versus 3 3/4-inch figures. There's been a lot of talk recently, a lot of heated debate on the Articulated Comic Book Art group page and on a post on my personal page. And I just want to weigh in on it a little bit, give you my take on it, let you know how I feel about it. I'll be the first to admit that when Marvel Universe figures first came out, I hated them. I hated them with a passion. I thought they were horrible. I felt insulted as a collector that Hasbro was putting time and money and resources into this line and not using that time and money and resources to reinvigorate the Marvel Legends line or the 6-inch line, because at that time the Legends was looking real bad. And that really bothered me. I felt like Hasbro didn't understand their consumers, and they were just doing a bad job as a company and marketing, and I just didn't really appreciate that. Since then, my anger and my hatred for Hasbro has definitely subsided, or my anger for Marvel Universe has subsided, and they have definitely made some significant strides in the right direction, and the line has actually gotten much better, and paint application is better, and articulation is better. So the other things that I really like is the possibilities to integrate the Marvel Universe figures into displays with 6-inch figures, and to do MSDs, multi-scale displays, and to do transformations and things of that nature. So I do purchase a few Marvel Universe figures where I can, here and there. And, I don't try to spend too much money on them, though, because I can't spend a lot of money and put a lot of time and resources into 3 3/4-inch figures when I've come so far on my 6-inch figures. I got to continue to try to complete my Marvel Universe in 6-inch form, because that's what I prefer, that's what I love. I think the possibilities for paint apps and articulation is so much greater in 6-inch form than it is in 3 3/4-inch. One thing about the 3 3/4-inch figures, though, is that the possibilities for dioramas and backdrops and adding props and stuff into your display is much greater with the 3 3/4-inch figures. It is much easier to incorporate those things into extravagant displays. But again, I don't do too much with the 3 3/4-inch figures, and I don't make those purchases unless I can have dual purposes for that purchase. So I could go through the few Marvel Universe figures that I have, tell you why I have them, how I got them. This is one purchase that I made recently, Bill Foster Goliath. I have him for 3 reasons. I like him. He's actually a beautiful figure, beautiful head sculpt, very nice paint job. Wish he would have been a little more sculpt in the arms and in the chest to make him a little bulkier. Second reason I have him, because I wanted to add him to my Avengers family portrait. I think he looks great here amongst everybody else. And the third reason that I have him is because he's an African-American character represented in figure form, and we don't get that too much. I had to represent for the brothers. So let me go through what else I got as far as Marvel Universe. So here's another Marvel Universe figure I have. This is the Wasp, and this is one thing that I actually really like about Marvel Universe, is when I have the opportunity to integrate these characters that can shrink, and they do smaller versions of those characters, and I can incorporate them into displays with my 6-inch figures and use them to kind of accent the piece. And this figure has absolutely no articulation, but with a little creativity and imagination, you could still make it look ill in the display. I used a little sewing needle and stuck it into the butt of the figure there, and then just used the other end to stick it into other places. So I think that's ill. I did not purchase this figure. I was given this figure, but I probably would have been content with making the purchase just to get this. I would have tried to get it for cheap. I wouldn't have spent a lot of money on it, but this is something that I do appreciate about Marvel. We got the Marvel Universe Ant-Man, and this was a purchase that I actually made. This figure came with the Marvel Universe Yellowjacket. I was actually content with that purchase because I got the figure for cheap, and you got the Yellowjacket, which can be used in a transformation on MSD. Plus, you got this little packet. Again, no articulation on this figure, but it's great to accent any displays I want to do with my 6-inch figure. So I'm happy for Marvel Universe for that. So when the next versions of Ant-Man and Wasp that are going to be released in that original Avengers gift set come out, I will make that purchase. Again, I will not try to spend a lot of money. I'll try to hustle it in some type of way. I'll try to get it for cheap, or maybe trade for the packings if somebody doesn't want it. But I will do that because there'll be Wasp in her red and black uniform, and the Ant-Man, it'll be in a different pose, if I'm not mistaken. There's a few more Marvel Universe figures that I own, and I bought these figures. I purchased each and every one of these figures. I purchased them specifically to do a MSD, because as many of you know, I don't feel like the Sentinels are in scale with the 6-inch figures. I think they work much better with the Marvel Universe figures. Now, when I bought each of these figures, I was not really happy with the look and the feel of any of these figures except maybe the Colossus. I think when they put out this Colossus is around the time when Marvel Universe started going in the right direction. From the beginning, I thought the Cyclops had the wrong color scheme. It was the wrong blue. I didn't really like the paint job on Nightcrawler. It didn't have enough articulation. Wolverine was okay, but just not a good head sculpt. That was from the Origins line, still 3 3/4 inch. Storm I didn't really like at all. It's just not enough articulation on these figures. I mean, like I said, the Colossus was nice, but since these have been released, they have released pretty much all of these in that giant size X-Men box set with better paint schemes on each and every one of them. Really, that's the only improvement. You don't get any accessories, and the box set is still pretty much overpriced to me. But you know, I might try to trade in these guys some type of way and hustle up the box set just for the better paint schemes. The one thing that I'm content about is, you know, I'm just trying to put together a complete multi-scale display, and the way I look at it is that I look at it like an actual artist who's doing a drawing or doing a sketch, and, you know, doing a splash page in a comic book. And the things that are larger are always going to have more detail, and the smaller things are going to be less detailed. So in the sake of a complete display, the Sentinels are super detailed. They look ill. So I don't think the smaller figures need to be too articulated or too detailed. It's nice if they are, but for the sake of having my complete display, I still think it comes out ill, and I still think it looks dope. So I'm actually okay with that. I'm just not okay with spending a lot of money just for the sake. There's another Marvel Universe figure I own. This is the 18-inch or the 19-inch Marvel Universe Galactus. And I purchased this figure for 3 reasons. I purchased it because this was representation of my first trip to San Diego Comic-Con, and I actually still have all of the exclusives that I bought from that year mint on card. I purchased it because this is the first time something like this has been done, where a figure of this size has been put on a blister card, and I thought that was just dope. I mean, first and foremost, I'm a Marvel fan, so for Marvel to be the first one to do something like this, I thought was ill. And I pretty much got them for free. I purchased 2 of these when I bought it. I sold one, I broke even, and still even made a little bit more money off of this. Now, I do actually like the figure. I do think it is a few improvements from the Marvel Legends version, but my one qualm with it is that if you're gonna take a figure that's already been done and that people have deemed a really good figure, and you're gonna redo it, then you gotta trump that figure in every way. And I don't think this figure has enough articulation, especially for a figure of this size. Should have had an ab crunch, should have had finger articulation, wrist articulation, but you know, some things they improved on was the size. I mean, it's a massive figure. The paint scheme is more comic accurate as far as the purple, and you know, it's got the light up eyes, and it can talk and stuff like that. But this is something that I'll never open. If I get an opportunity to get another one for cheap or for free, then I'll open that one and maybe do some type of display with it. But this is really just for display purposes on my wall. I love the way it looks here on my wall with my other men on card figures. And then this is it. This is all of my Marvel Universe figures right here. This is the remaining Marvel Universe figures that I have. Now, the reason that I have these figures is because either I won them, I actually made the purchase because I actually wanted the figure, I got it for really cheap, or I got it by default, meaning that it was part of a 2-pack and the other figure just came with the figure that I really wanted. These 2 figures, I actually won them in the contest. I haven't opened the Iron Spider-Man. I will say one thing about Marvel Universe is they do sometimes have better 3 3/4 inch versions of figures that have come out in 6-inch, and I think this is somewhat of a representation of that. I've never opened it yet. I've never seen this outside of the package. I do know that the extra arms are not posable, so that's kind of whack. Kitty Pryde, I won that. I thought about doing like a phasing display with her, and I thought that I might take her apart or break her in half to do it, and I wouldn't have felt no type of way about that because I want to put together my Avengers in 3 3/4 inch. So, you know, Yellowjacket again was a purchase that I was happy with. Thor was a purchase that I was happy with. I wanted to, you know, I was thinking about the future with the Frost Giants and doing something ill with him. Hawkeye was a purchase that I was happy with. I actually think that's a nice figure. Iron Man came with this Giant Man, and originally I purchased Iron Man to do a multi-scale display with Fang Fang Foom. Spider-Man came with one of the guys from the Wrecking Crew. I think it's a horrible figure, horrible representation of Spider-Man, not enough articulation, but you know, I got him by default. So, or the clone of Thor I got by default with the Bill Forster Goliath, but it is actually an improvement on the paint from the original Thor. Enchantress, I got her, I think she came in a 2-pack too, but I did kind of want this figure with the possibility to put her with the Frost Giants or something like that. World War Hulk was a purchase that I made that I was content with. You know, I saw this at San Diego Comic-Con in 2010, and I knew I was going to make this purchase. I think this is a good representation of where Hasbro is taking Marvel Universe and where they need to be and where they need to be building off of. This figure actually trumps both of the 6-inch versions, man. It's just a better all-around figure than the versions. Ghost Rider, I won that figure. Electro was a figure that I purchased, and I was very unhappy with that purchase because I didn't get him for too cheap, and I only purchased him just to get the accessories that came with him. Horrible figure. Titanium Man, I won that. Ultron came with Mr. Fantastic, but I did want the Ultron to do an MSD with Giant Man. The entire Wrecking Crew here was something that obviously I got over time, but that I was happy with getting because I wanted them to do a MSD with Giant Man. And, you know, this is something that Hasbro has been doing, is putting out a lot of characters, and characters that some of us who primarily collect 6-inch figures are kind of jealous or envious of. So, you know, I'm certain that everybody who collects 6-inch would love to get a Wrecking Crew in 6-inch form. So I had to do the next best thing and get them in 3 3/4 inch and put together a multi-scale display with them. And, you know, I don't really even think these three guys are that great. I think the only figure that could kind of stand alone as a decent figure is the Wrecker. But you know, when you integrate them with a larger, more detailed figure and put some props and backdrops, then you can put together a real nice, complete display. So I'm content. This Hulk I purchased just to do an MSD with Fing Fang Foom. It was a nice piece. It came out nice, but I think this is a horrible figure, horrible representation of Hulk. Not enough articulation. Thing came with one of the guys from the Wrecking Crew. I actually think this is a pretty decent figure. Mr. Fantastic came with Ultron, and he is okay, not that great. But now that I have Thing and Mr. Fantastic, I may try to hustle up the other two members of Fantastic Four. Juggernaut was a purchase that I made that I was happy with. I thought at the time when I purchased this was the best Marvel Universe figure. Since then, I think the King Hulk has trumped him as the best, and maybe Apocalypse will trump Hulk as the best. This Colossus is definitely not a purchase I was happy with. Horrible figure. I purchased this just to do the MSD with the Sentinels. Since then, I've removed him and replaced him with the other Colossus that came out. I'll probably try to get rid of this guy and some way and try to trade him off. This is the most recent purchase that I made for Marvel Universe, the Deadpool and Taskmaster 2-pack. Definitely not happy with the fact that I paid 19 bucks for the two of these guys, but I really did want a Deadpool in 3 3/4 inch. His color scheme is a little lighter on the red than it should be. Taskmaster is pretty cool with the fact that his costume is more comic accurate. You know, overall these guys are cool. So in no way am I completely sold on Marvel Universe figures, but in no way am I completely opposed to them anymore. Like I said, the possibilities for MSDs and for transformations and for integrating them with the Marvel Legends is so great right now. And, you know, the line has definitely gotten better. Originally, I thought they were going to stop making Marvel Legends and they were going to put all their time and money and resources into Marvel Universe, and I was not happy about that. I was angry about that. I was sick about that. But with the prospects for Marvel Legends in 2012 and the things that they got planned and things that I'm hearing about, with the Build-A-Figure waves coming back and complete waves coming back, then I'm fine with the lines coexisting. You know, people can make their decision. If they want to spend money on 3 3/4 inch and spend money on something that may not be that good, then that's on them. I think it kind of hurts the industry, but, you know, that's on them. I'm a not spend too much money on 3 3/4 inch. Get them where I can for cheap or for free and continue to support 6-inch. But I think a lot of people kind of got duped into getting 3 3/4 inch figures at the time when Marvel Legends was kind of lacking and they wasn't putting out anything, or they were putting out stuff that wasn't that great, and that's how a lot of people got turned on to 3 3/4 inch. But you know, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Let's discuss it and let's have an intelligent discussion about it. No fighting. All right, y'all. Peace.